We are live Saturday. We got Curtis, PE turned RE, and it's been a while. So we got Dylan back on. So how's everything going, guys?
It's going great. How about you, Mark?
Dylan, catch us up real quick. It's been a while since you've been on. So what have you been working on before we dig into some reels and clips here today?
Yeah. So I've been working a lot as a software engineer right now, just saving money, closed a few real estate deals for clients. I bought a duplex that we should be able to fully burr. So we should not have any money in it at the end of the day, which is going to be awesome after we refi it on the back end. But the cool part is we bought it on a credit line. So I got paid to buy this deal. I'll probably not have any money in the deal at the end of it, and it should cash flow $300 a month per unit, and it's duplex, so $600 a month for that one property should be sweet.
All right, very
I'm looking
cool.
at building. Yeah.
Nice. Curtis, I know you had a video drop recently and some new stuff. So quickly touch on that, and then we'll dig into the reels, man.
Yeah, I dropped a couple this week. First one, there was a huge change in a down payment assistance program here in Washington. It's still an option to get up to $150,000 of down payment assistance, but the small change was now you have to go through the full underwriting process. Then you get kind of put in a queue, like a line basically, and then once your number is called, you have 30 days to get under contract.
All right, so everyone go check that out. Check out his new video. I think you have an event coming up. Isn't there an
Yep.
event? Yeah, I saw posted.
June 4th, next Thursday, doing a home buyers class type of deal on how to actually get your offers approved and how to get loans in this high rate environment.
All right, everyone tuning in, good morning. You guys can definitely send in any questions, comment. It can all still be real estate, finance, or stocks, anything related. But we're going to be breaking down some reels today, and so it's been scientifically proven. So this is kind of the main topic, main one we're going to dig into first. Here, I'm going to play this clip real quick. Here we go.
New study finds that friends that basically cap on each other show that those people are more loyal. Study doesn't surprise me at all. If I don't make fun of you, if I don't throw out jabs and good-natured jokes and tease you a little bit, if I don't say, hey, how long did the doctor say you should wear those shoes? If I don't say, hey, show me who cut your hair and we're going to go kick there. If I don't say, frickin', does that shirt come in a man size? If I don't say, and your teeth look like you gargled butter. If I'm not messing with you, I probably don't mess with you. So if I'm ever joking with you and I'm ever making fun of you, that means I love you. That means you're my buddy. You're my pal. We're connected. We're tight. I've been trying to tell people that for years. Everybody gets offended when I throw a little jab their way and they get all butthurt. I'm like, brother, I wouldn't make fun of somebody unless I loved them.
All right. So what do you guys want to say about that now? I mean, like I said, I've been talking about that in the firehouse for a while. That's kind of what we do. But what did you guys' thoughts on that clip?
Yeah, I definitely resonated with that. I'm not sure if it's like a locker room thing, but like as far back as I can go, like my teammates, we would just be ruthless. We would just clown on each other, but we'd still be best friends. And so I was like, oh yeah, that is definitely true.
What about
Yeah.
you, Dylan? You think people are getting offended too easily out there?
I do. I think it's helpful when you have stuff like this, even when it's serious stuff too. Like if your friends know that, oh, you're supposed to be working out, you're supposed to be losing a little bit of weight, stuff like that, and they see you skip it a few days and they give you crap about it, you're gonna think next time about skipping another day. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of it's constructive too, but at the same time, I feel like it's just how I don't know about. I can't speak for women because I'm not one, but I think it's just how guys talk to each other. And like, if you're really good friends with somebody, they're just going to throw stuff at you because it's funny. Like, we can't say too many compliments without saying something negative about you to cushion it a little bit. We can't let your ego get too big.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is a great point, right? We can't say too many compliments. It has to throw something in there to bring you down a little bit. But I do see a lot of people tuning in. And like I said, they probably, most of the people in the chat, I'm sure, understand what we are talking about. Because once you kind of get around this community, you are, you're fair game now. So definitely, Chester knows about that. So, but like you said, we all love Chester, and definitely we may, pick on Chester quite a bit certain times, but they said he has his heart's in the right place. So same thing, right? Chester likes to ask a lot of the speakers at the event. He's always the first one in line to bring up questions, and people are always making trouble on that. But they said it comes from a place of heart of love, and he's trying to also get the speaker more comfortable and get the ball rolling, right? So definitely important. But yeah, to Curtis's point, I think it's super important. Like even just getting ready for this live, right? Sending the clips and sending the thumbnails and things like that. It's never a serious conversation, I think. And I think that is sometimes what we're lacking sometimes. I mean, do you guys think it's getting worse out there? People are getting easily offended, or how's it like?
Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask you guys, because I know in the firehouse, it's kind of like a locker room there, right? And so you guys can kind of go back and forth. I know Yasik's in the chat, so I know in the military it's crazy talk. But Dylan, you've worked in like corporate environment, right?
Yeah.
So how was there room for joking and roasting in that environment?
So I didn't really work in corporate when the I call them the nose ring community kind of ran everything. But now, like I mess with people at work all the time. Now I'm not gonna say stuff that I would say to like my best friends and stuff like that, but I will still give them crap. Like I saw somebody brought in a bunch of Red Bulls, and I'm like, you gonna be here all night? Just mess with them. Like, oh, did you guys break something last night? Just throwing stuff their way to have fun with them. But most people now, it seems like we're getting away from, and this is what I was telling Mark, like there for a minute, there was a very finite group of people that pretty much tried to determine how all of us were able to talk to each other. And all the guys are like, yeah, we still talk to each other like this behind closed doors. And now we just don't care anymore. And we just say whatever we want, basically.
Yeah. I would say in the teacher world, you find out pretty quick which teachers you can take jabs with and teachers that you're like, I'm not going to HR. So I'm just not going to talk to you.
Dylan, I haven't even looked yet. Are you streaming live? I know Curtis is. So there's Curtis's channel, Dylan's channel. Jump over there, subscribe, like everyone. But kind of funny, Curtis, you mentioned that, about teachers, and I don't know if everyone turned into the weekly Bitcoin wrap up this morning, but Coach Nick was talking. He got a hater, man. He's probably lost about, I think he said 15, 20 subscribers recently because he can't completely relate it, but he's lost a bunch of subscribers. But he said a teacher that he works with has told his students they get extra credit if they unsubscribe to his channel. So I don't know how much is related to what that extra credit the teacher's giving out, but he did say he lost quite a bit of subscribers recently. So yeah, there's definitely haters out there. My live stream with Emily yesterday, we were talking about kind of people not supporting, right? And this kind of all relates to just even just the roasting, that first clip. And I see Jen tuning in, who always makes trouble to me. I'm so nice to her, so I don't know why she would behave that way towards me. But I saw a roast and Mark and had to join. Where do we start? And Chester too. Chester definitely says, right, we did a lot of it. It comes from a great place. We're always picking on everyone, and everyone kind of. And if someone out there is offended, hopefully just bring it up to us. We'll definitely, if we are crossing the line, let us know. And I'm sure we can take a step back and whatnot. But I think for the most part, people do understand where it's coming from, and people have a lot of fun with it. I think that's what separates this group, right? It's not too serious. You jump on a lot of the school calls, and everyone's just having fun with everyone. Anything you guys want to say to anyone in the chat? I see Andy here. I do see Bird Whisperer, right? So Bird Whisperer, that's bashing on Curtis, or not bashing on Curtis, but having fun with Curtis, right?
Speaking of birds and Andy, I thought of Andy the other day. So I go over to my mom's house, and she kind of lives in this private road. So I'm driving back there, and I'm like, what is that sound? So I kind of roll down my window, and I'm looking. My neighbor was redoing, or my mom's neighbor was redoing the fence. Well, they had to take down the fence, so all the chickens escaped. So there was like probably 13 chickens running across the road, this going crazy while they fixed the fence. So I thought of Andy.
Part of that clip too, it mentions almost like, and I've talked about it too. Like if I don't make fun of you though, then it's kind of almost like, I wouldn't say you're not a friend, but it's just there's something maybe wrong there in a sense. I don't know if wrong is the right way to put it, but do you guys kind of feel that way also too, where it's almost like if you are not making fun of that person, then it's almost like there's just someone you're not really willing to interact with in a sense.
Yeah, I would say if I'm not, if I don't feel comfortable enough to joke with somebody about whatever it is, they're probably not that close. I wouldn't even say friend generally. It's just somebody that I know as an acquaintance from something. Or another thing that I could say is like, if I'm just like trying to feel out the water, like, I don't know, I might throw something out there, and if it sticks and they laugh, then I know that they can be a better friend. But if they get super offended, like, well, guess we're not going to be hanging out too much.
Yeah, Six says Dion lost a bunch of subscribers when they found out he still eats crayons. And Steven from the Bronx says, please let us know when you're offended. We'll never use that against you. That's music to a firefighter's ears. Yeah, definitely. Right. So even Steven, he's, if people don't know, we always kind of make fun of him a little bit about being tech challenged, right? He sharing his screen on the Zoom calls and things like that. So definitely Steven, being a retired firefighter, knows about, you can't show weakness almost. You can't show any weakness out there, because if you do, then definitely you'll be a target again, right? What did Jen say? Oh, there's a spirit. So Chester's saying, Jen Tam, there's the spirit. Yasik says Mark is gaining subscribers because many feel bad for him being a second responder. Come on, man. I'm surprised Joe V is not here. He already commented on Facebook something about how can you make fun of Mark when he's 4 feet tall, has no hair, and likes the Bears or something like that. But
man. Have y'all ever made a joke to someone and then they turn it into like a lecture?
Oh, dude.
Or like a social cause? You're like, oh no.
Oh, you're not supposed to say that here. Like, oh, geez, I'm not listening to this.
I'm surprised in your work environment you don't get that more, Curtis.
Well, it's because I found out who I can talk to and who I can't pretty quick.
Oh man, yeah. I think says true test is to send some reels and see their response. Yeah, definitely. You gotta space them out though, Yasik.
Yasik will send me 9 reels at one time. I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do?
Each one gets progressively worse too. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, Gus is here. Good morning, Gus.
What's going on?
Go
Gus?
check out Behind the Doors. He came out with a great episode. He had Captain Brian Waters join them, but there was 3 other guests with them, and one was actually what's her name? Andrea, who spoke in Vegas. Her husband was on with Gus. I'm not sure if Gus knew that at the time, but when the husband heard Gus mention Michael Zuber, he was like, "Oh, my wife spoke at the event this past year." So Andrea's wife was on Gus's recent podcast. So definitely go check that out, Behind the Doors. Flavio says, member for 3 months, level O has been member. Thanks for that. Hopefully, Flavio, you've dealt with he had a tree fall on one of his properties. There was a windstorm in his area and the tenant called him. So hopefully you addressed that so far. Stuff talking. I don't know what Chester means by that. Just imagine if I was fully retired, Jacek said. Oh man, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I might have to block him when he gets fully retired.
So even like you, Curtis, I know you're focusing a little bit on the real estate side, right? Agent side.
Yeah.
Do you kind of worry about sometimes maybe what you're posting and if you're offending anyone, or because I see a lot of even like in those realtor pages, right?
Mhm.
Or groups. There's the one like don't if you support ICE, don't use me as a realtor. I've seen some of those,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like where are you on your posting or social media posting for your agent side?
yeah, I try to keep it like more informational or maybe some humor, like, oh my goodness, I just door knocked this guy and he ripped me a new one, and just try not to say anything that will get either side like riled up, especially because I still am a teacher. And there have been some teachers that have been fired because of some comments that they made. Like when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, there was a teacher that was fired. Now, she did win her lawsuit, but she won like 200K, which is cool, but she doesn't have a job, right? Like she still doesn't have a job. So it's one of those things.
I don't even want to talk about it. I was gonna say, what is she? All right. Well, definitely, this is gonna be kind of the main topic. So anyone have more comments, want to poke fun at one of us? How come all the poking fun is at me so far though? There's none of Dylan or
Well,
I saw
Mark,
one at Kurt.
I
you're
guess it's just easy.
yeah, you're just the easier target here, man.
Well, you didn't see Dylan's hair this morning. I have to make that's why you put a hat on.
Oh, it was
I saw him on
bad.
the Zoom call this morning. But let me see what other clip will I share? Let's see. They sent me some clips yesterday, so let's go with randomly. I will share. I don't even know what this one is. Let me share this one.
Lazy people don't know how to start. Weak people don't know how to finish. Successful people don't know how to stop. People demand success, but refuse to work weekends. People want opportunity, but won't talk to strangers. People claim ambition, but sleep in every day. We are the result of our actions, not our aspirations.
Yes, I like that one. I shared it with you because I feel like there are so many people that will ask us about real estate, investing in real estate, and so on. And the laziness that comes from just not wanting to do it. Oh, Dylan, just tell me how to buy a property. I'm like, I have a bunch of YouTube videos on my channel that talk about buying properties, how to run the numbers, everything like that. You can watch those. I'm happy to talk to you once you've done it a few times and made some mistakes, then we can go over it. But I feel like it's that way in any business, though. There's a lot of people that just want to be handed something instead of doing something. And just saying that you want to do something is not good enough. I would rather you make a ton of mistakes and make a lot of action over, just, oh, one day I'm going to buy a property.
Alex, the accidental investor, who will be joining Joel, Lauren, and I on the Wednesday Meet the School member in 2 weeks. Not this week. This week will be James Hillis will be joining us on Wednesday, and Alex will be with us the following week. But he says your AI images are over the top. Ask Curtis about that.
Oh,
Alex.
yeah, dude. Alex, you've always seen the ones that he's posted. You should see the ones that don't get posted because those are just so insulting. And I'm noticing trends about it too. But I don't know what he puts in his instructions, but
I think
there's
it's your
definitely
hair.
bias.
That's why it has
There's-
a difficult time differentiating.
Man.
But that clip, did you have anything to say about that, Curtis?
Yeah, I really think that Dylan's point is interesting because we're not even in the same market, we're not in the same area, not same price point or anything like that. And people will come to me like, "Oh, you bought this? I'm trying to buy the same thing." And then I ask them, "Okay, so what do you want to buy, or what do you want to invest in, or whatever?" And they kind of, "Oh, I just want to get a cash flow." Okay, well, what does that mean? And like they can't even tell you what they're trying to do, or or you ask them, okay, well, how are you going to manage it? Because like I can help you buy it, no problem. I know deal structure, I can help you analyze it, but like once you own it, my part's done. Like, unless you want me to manage it, but like, so like, it's so interesting that people won't take that next logical step of like, oh, buying is actually the easy part. It's the all the other stuff that has to come with the ownership.
You know, I've talked about this before too, and the confusing part to me is it's almost like people like you buy a rental property or an investment property and you think the upkeep of it is any different than just being a regular homeowner. So like as a homeowner, you're fine with having to fix things. I mean, you're not fine, but you know you have to fix things and upkeep and things like that. But when you buy a rental or an investment property and then you have this maintenance or something come up, you're just like, it just throws you for a loop, right? Like, oh, why is this happening to my rental property? It's like it's the same thing that would happen for your primary residence if you had a home, right? These things happen, and like Flavio, trees can fall on property. I mean, you don't want them to, but they can happen to your primary residence or an investment property. But for some reason, when it's your investment property, people just lose their shit about it. They think like, oh, like what am I doing, right? And it just confuses me that way. Yeah, Alex, we'll definitely send you some of the fun AI thumbnails and reels possibly. I think I still have one in here. This one came out good. I like this one. Hold on. I'll share this one. This is like Curtis accepting his Crocs trophy at the Vegas event with John Litz. So that's one of my favorite ones. And they got the pink Crocs on. I forgot about that. But yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people, and that kind of goes back to when Dion and Lumberjack, right, had that kind of Dion did a great job talking about stocks, right, on why people stocks is better than real estate, right? Real estate definitely does have more hands-on, more work involved, and for some people, that's why stocks may be a better option because, yeah, you have ups and downs, but it's definitely a little less work there, I guess, in a sense, right? If you're just putting it in an ETF or something. So
Yeah.
for some, yeah.
And then some people say, "Oh, I'll just have a property manager." Okay, but I'm like, do you even know what to ask them? Do you know what you're supposed to get back? Like, do you know what the report's supposed to be? Right. So it's like, even them trying to go the easy route, they don't necessarily know what steps they're even supposed to take there.
This is a great comment. Harrison says, I feel that I have had better relationships with my contractors if we laugh in the first call, usually a vulgar joke. You guys use that to test your contract. That's why people work with Yasik, possibly. It's why his business is striving.
Like, man, this guy knows
So-
glass.
Some of my contractors don't even speak English, so it's just one of those things where we might have a chuckle, but we're probably laughing at very different things.
Yeah, all my contractors, I would consider like I'm really comfortable saying anything to them. But I mean that goes into other things too, like one being friends with them and so on. But then also like you need to be able to have difficult conversations with contractors too. And if they're like if you have that kind of relationship, like you can be like, oh man, you weren't supposed to do something like this, and I feel like they just take it as criticism instead of like you're trying to attack them, which I think is good.
Yasik says, buying is transactional, managing and optimizing requires different skill sets that many lack. And he follows up with being liked by others is what makes you a great operator. I think he's what he's saying. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if people like you, then one, they kind of want to help you out. Like there's time, like because of the events that I do in Washington Hall and all the networking, I can make a pretty basic post saying, "Oh, hey, I need help with this," or "I'm looking for a contractor on this day," and people will privately message me, "Hey, use my guy. Tell him that I sent you." Blah blah blah. Right? And so it's like, oh, okay, great. I'll just use the referral. Now, if they didn't like me, I'd probably just get like contractors in the comments saying, "Oh, just call me." But now I can get like the vetted ones.
Delroy. Hey, Delroy was on 2 weeks ago. He's also was on Curtis's channel a while back. He's from Jamaica, but it's a cool story. And but he does say, are you guys actively buying real estate in 2026?
Yes, sir. I just closed on duplex. Should be a total burr. So I shouldn't have any money in the deal at the end of the day. Looking for more multifamily, and then like I said at the start of the call, trying to do some development at some point. I want to get into that because I feel like that's a very easy thing to scale linearly, as opposed to like finding all these properties all over. I just want to own like a community, you know. So like have 10 duplexes in a line or something like that.
Now,
What about you guys?
is that one you bought? Is that part of a partnership?
Yeah, it is part of a partnership. So the different thing is the equity splits changed on this partnership. So now we're 50-50 partners on this partnership, even though we're borrowing money 80-20 from our other partnership. A little complicated, but essentially we just use the credit line from the other company to pay for this property, and then we're going to rehab it. So we put no money in out of pocket. We should be out of pocket, no money at the end of it, and we should have cash flow. And if that process works, we plan on just repeatedly trying to do this to build it up.
Nice. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I think that can get people that are early on kind of lost.
Yes. That's why I try not to explain it too much, but essentially just think of it as like I bought a property on a HELOC, and then I technically bought it in cash on that HELOC. I have to wait a few months, and then the bank is going to let me refinance, and they're going to revalue it at based on the renovations that we did. So we bought it for like 170 something, and we're going to put 35 to 40 into it, and it should be worth about 240, 250. So we shouldn't have any money of our own in the deal at the end of the day, but we should both have like 15K in equity each. So it's not a huge one, but full cash out is awesome.
Like I said, Curtis and Dylan are streaming live also on their channel, so definitely go jump over there, subscribe, follow. I know Dylan, you just said you are actively buying, but you also were on, Bigger Pockets rookie, Brandon Turner. It's a big deal on social media right now. Do you guys have any thoughts on what he might be going through? I mean, that's a different type of roasting people, right? So we initially the main topic was about roasting friends and making fun of people, but definitely Brandon Turner is seeing a different side of people, I think, right now on social media. But do you guys have any thoughts on what he might be going through and the syndications and things like that?
I mean, one, I cannot imagine. One, you're one of the biggest faces, names, right? When you think of real estate investing, he's one of the faces that you think of, right? And so to be on the mountaintop and then get pushed off, oh man, and not even really pushed, you just fell off, right? Like it was his deal, it was his thing that he had to like manage. Now, I'm not saying that all investments should be perfect all of the time, but to lose everyone's money is that has to be a tough thing to sleep with at night.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think though that I think everybody forgets sometimes that this is a syndication. You vet the person putting the deal, you vet the deal yourself, and then you put money into it. So a lot of the investors knew they were buying a 4-cap. I'm not justifying the fact that they lost a bunch of money, but I'm saying the investors know the risk when they put money into a syndication, and that's part of investing. If you don't want to deal with that, do your deals on your own. Now, back on that, buying a 4-cap is crazy, especially in a rate environment that was something that we just it just doesn't happen. We don't get free money, 2% interest rates, 3% interest rates on big commercial buildings. We have 5-year terms. I saw a ton of comments on Instagram. Oh, why would you get debt that short? It's a commercial deal. this is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. We can't just say, oh, for the 72 million, can you just lock it up for 30 years? That would be really awesome if I could get a 30-year loan on this property. He wouldn't have had a problem if that was the case, because he would still have 3% debt or whatever it was, and they would be cash flowing a ton. They raised the NOI by like 30-40% on the property, but that interest rate move just killed them. And I think that's a big factor that people that aren't in the commercial space don't have to deal with. Is, if you're trying to get really aggressive when rates are low, you might have to pay later. Like, you might have to have the capital to do a cash in refinance. You might lose people money. It should be your money first. So I think some of the questions that Michael was asking about this on the first video he did on it, I think they were very fair. Like, are you getting a disposition fee? Are you getting paid $620,000? That's pretty normal, 1% of the disposition, for selling this property and losing the client's $15 million. I don't think you should. I think you should get washed in that deal and you shouldn't make any money on it. Maybe even take the acquisition fee and try to pay some of that back to investors. But it is what it is. It is a large amount of money that they borrowed, and they made a lot of mistakes, but the environment also shifted a ton from COVID to now.
Yeah, and as far as kind of going back to Mark's point there, as far as like the roasting and all of the comments go, I can't imagine opening your phone and you're just getting just blasted across all platforms. Everyone has something to say about what you did. Now, I know that happens in sports and things like that, but you sign up for that when you're an athlete, right? Part of your contract is dealing with the media. I don't know if he thought this failure would be as big as it was.
I'm gonna skip over Harrison's question real quick. I'll bring it up after because Alex one ties into this a little bit more. So Alex, he is asking, who would invest in syndications or other people's deals? Or I'm not sure if he's asking, would you, or would we us, or he's asking who would do it. I guess.
I know some people that they use Ignite funding. It's kind of like a syndication type thing, but they like it because they're on the later stage of their investing career. So if they can easily put some money into the fund, that they'll make about 10 to 12% on their money. It gets paid out monthly, and they get their principal back in 9 to 15 months. That's what these guys have told me, right? And they're in their 60s, 70s. And so for them, instead of buying rentals, they just put their money in this fund and they can get the monthly income without any of the work.
Yeah, so to be fair, so kind of earlier to what we were saying about, transactional is one part of real estate, and then you got to become a manager, and some people may be terrible at that. So that's also attractive for these people that invested in syndications because they didn't have to do the managerial side. So, let's say they're a doctor, let's say they're a lawyer, they're bringing in a lot of W-2 income, but they still want tax benefits, but they don't have the time to be a manager. So they have the funds to deploy. And in fairness, so they're actually, like I said, I go through a lot of the comments in Zuber's videos, and there is a lot of people that have said, hey, I've done well on syndications. Maybe I have 20 syndications I've invested in, and yeah, maybe 5 or 6 have failed, but others have exited, like how Curtis was saying. Usually the draw is, if it goes as planned, a lot of times you double your money possibly, or, maybe 1.5, 2 on a good end, but you can double your money in like 18 months or something, right? And you still could be getting quarterly payments, possibly tax benefits. And then they've also figured out ways to kind of 1031 your capital into the next fund. So you kind of defer taxes. So there is a lot of people that did well in syndications. And even like in our community, Craig Blessler, who's done a lot of syndications, yeah, some have failed, but he also says, yeah, certain operators that I've worked with has exited flawlessly, and he's made a lot of money doing that. So I think we're only here, and of course, there's going to be a lot maybe in the near future that we hear about failing. But the big thing I think is, and I told Zuber the other day, the one thing that I always go back to is, like Jonathan Twomley said, like he wasn't buying though because he just couldn't find anything that made sense because everybody was overpaying for things. So some of those aggressive newer operators, and probably why they got in trouble, is they were overpaying for things, and that's why a lot of these seasoned operators weren't investing. And then the other good point that he touched on was that, like I said, Craig and some other people some of these people were in multiple syndication deals. So when capital calls are being made, they had to be selective on which ones they wanted to try and save. So they would have to look over, like, okay, this one possibly I see can maybe be saved if we, and put more capital into it, and maybe I want to put capital into this one, but there's not enough people that are going to put capital, so it's going to fail anyway. So there is a lot of people that have made a lot of money in syndications. It's just like, well, yeah, Alex is saying it sounds a lot like gambling to me, but at the same time, it's like, a lot of these seasoned operators, right? Would you trust a professional investor over a mom and pop? A lot of times, right? So a lot of times these are professional type investors, and that's why people are typically. But there was just so many new syndicator operators at one point, and they were kind of selling, like Brandon Turner, right? We're talking about. He went straight from mobile home parks almost to syndications, right? There was no, and what was it, like $175 million deal or something, straight from a small investor in a sense, right, to this big syndication. So,
I think
just like, yeah,
I think also a perspective is a lot of people don't even know people that could be in syndications because you have to be an accredited investor. How many people know people with a net worth of $1 million and or make more than 250,000 a year, right? That's probably a smaller group of people. So when people are posting about it, they may not even know an accredited investor, so they may not get different perspectives.
well, so that was the other thing we brought up too, is that the requirements to be a accredited investor hasn't changed probably in like 40 years, right? So maybe 40 years ago, it was a lot harder to be an accredited investor, but now it hasn't really kept up with where inflation and things like that have gone. So people that could qualify, like even myself, right, accredited investor, but yet you're not really wealthy or anything per se, right? But so the requirements haven't really updated with where we're at, 30, 40 years later. But yeah, but the big draw, like I said, is you get these big chunks of payments. They found ways to kind of 1031 those capital, so you're deferring all the taxes, and even like, I don't know if you guys are familiar. Like there's people that believe in doing the Delaware statutory trust type of investments as the later, at very hands off, right? You take a big proceed, you invest in these funds, and it's a way to kind of push the taxes down the road and just hands off. Returns. But as I said, it just depends where you're at in the journey, right? But okay, sorry, Harrison. Let me get back to your question. You said there was so Dylan, while working in tech, do you see coworkers trying to make friends with their AI?
No, I happen to work in a place where everybody doesn't really like AI too much, at least on this team. Our like lead of software engineering's opinion is, well, you're just outsourcing your intelligence to something else. So like you're just not going to be a good software engineer. Now I know that's not entirely true, because I'll use it sometimes to answer questions that I have, but there is something to be said about the people that are like addicted to using AI instead of actually trying to figure out how to do their work. I've noticed it's produced a lot worse engineers, especially in the newer generation. I hate to rag on the newer generation because I feel like that makes me sound old, but just some of the kids that are coming out of college with computer science and stuff like that, I don't know what they're going to do because some of them are terrible. There's a lot of good ones, but I've talked to a lot of people, and I think part of it too is people just wanting to go to software engineering because oh, it's easy money. Like they see the Meta and Amazon salaries that you can get. Well, Amazon not so much, but Meta and some of the other companies, Netflix, where you see somebody graduating school and making like 300K a year. Yeah, that's not everybody. That's people in Silicon Valley. Long-winded way to answer that, but no, people aren't trying to make friends with artificial intelligence where I work.
Alex is saying bigger the name, the lower the return. Yeah, definitely. That's what Zuber guys always talk about. But the thing is, I think what people don't realize is there is big players that we never know about. A lot of these operators, syndicators that are in these bigger spaces, they're not on social media. You would never know what they're doing. And that's why, like, on LinkedIn, these people that are doing big deals, they're not on social media. So even like we're talking about Brandon Turner being he's a big name, but he is like a small fish in this space. And that's the thing. There is operators out there that are taking down deals that you don't never really know about unless you're in that space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I helped host an event on, what was it, Tuesday, and one of our main speakers, he owns $1 billion worth of real estate. I never even heard of this guy. And I was like, oh, like, I thought someone mistyped it. No, he actually owns $1 billion, and part of his whole thing, his whole talk was how to raise capital, because he's raised $500 million of capital through syndications and private money, and he was breaking down all the different ways that he does it, what securities you have to do, what paperwork. So I thought this topic was great because I just heard about it on Tuesday from a guy that I never even heard of. He's local to us, and $1 billion worth of real estate is kind of a big deal. And he kind of talked us through the ins and outs of it all.
And that's the kind of people, the operators where the people that do invest with him are also big players. So they have deep pockets to save these deals. So they may have this syndication, but it only might be limited to like, 20, 30 people because they all have big pockets. Whereas a lot of like Brandon Turner, for example, people are putting, 50K is a lot, but it's many people putting 50K in and don't have the deeper pockets to when the capital call comes up, right? So
Yeah, no, I think that's one thing, because like people see that, oh, Brandon Turner's saying he owns $1 billion worth of real estate in their fund in Open Door Capital. But the funny thing is, Curtis has a guy that sounds like he doesn't want anybody to know about him, and he just likes to do his deals, but he was coming to teach people on an investing thing. And he owns $1 billion worth of real estate, and Curtis hasn't even heard of him, and he lives right down the street. You know what I mean?
all right, member, I don't know what he is anymore, 601, but we dropped him under 600 members in school, so I don't know what to call Chester anymore, but he's getting upset that I'm skipping over Harrison's question. So hold on. Oh, so Harrison asked, would you rather invest in syndications or long-term partnerships?
That's an interesting one. I think for the long-term partnerships, I guess it would have to be like, am I just a passive investor? I'm not sure. I think this syndication might be nice because then if it sucks, then it's over quick. Whereas long-term partnerships, if it sucks, you're stuck with them.
Yeah, you're married for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I like long-term partnerships, but I've just had a really good situation where I have a partner that has the same personality and everything, just a little bit older, and is able to help me fund some of the deals that we're working on. We never have any issues, and with the syndication, I mean, unless I'm the GP, I don't really have any interest, because at this point I'm in like trying to go through a hyper growth phase, and I'm just not going to get that putting my money into a syndication. Like I think that's more of, if you want passive returns, like mailbox money, don't want to pay attention to it. You put like 50 grand into like 10, 20 different syndications, and then you're spread out. If one fails, the other ones make up for it, and so on. Another thing is, like Curtis, like you were talking about, debt funds. Those are good. Can be.
I ain't doing it partnering with anyone, because not so much the other person. I just know I would probably drive them nuts. Like no, like they would probably want all these things, and I'd be like, don't worry, don't worry about it. They'd probably want information from me and something, and I'll just be like, it's not a big deal. So I think I know myself that if if there was some sort of partnership, I think I would drive the other person crazy with my attitude of kind of things will work out in a sense, right? Like I see more people in the community being more spreadsheet driven, or they're following their numbers and they're tracking things and stuff. And I would probably drive them crazy, and then it would just, it wouldn't work out. That would be my take on it.
Mark driving a person nuts, I can never imagine.
All right, back to roasting, aren't we? No, but what? On this question Harrison brought up, I actually there was a post on X. It was like, would you invest funds? Let's say you have to invest funds. Would you invest with Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, Brandon Turner, or someone else? I think it was, but it was kind of like, who would you invest your money with?
Man, you're giving me bad options.
Yeah, those are all terrible ones. I know a person that's dealt with Grant. It didn't go very well. And I don't know about Kiyosaki. He seems to kind of be all over the place. And then seeing what just happened with Brandon Turner, it's like, oh man, these are rough.
I don't know if that was an option, but Gus is saying Ken McElroy, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. He might have been on there, but that was one of the options too. But if you didn't see, so I don't know if you guys follow, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Flip Anything USA. Tom McKay. His name's Tom McKay. Flip Anything USA, but he just goes after all like fake gurus, he says, but he was like, Ken McElroy saying he's a billionaire and all this. He's not a billionaire, and he's like, he's been on Zuber's channel a few times. I think he really likes Zuber, but when it was like so many people are putting stuff out there on social media, and they're like, that guy's not a billionaire and stuff like that. You'd partner with Ashley Kerr. Oh, okay. I don't know if Victor's saying Ken McElroy he invested. Oh, yeah, maybe that's why I'm saying Ben, or that guy Tom McKay was like, Ken McElroy. I don't know if he said he's full of shit, but he was just like, he's not a billionaire and talking about real estate and stuff like that.
I mean, you gotta talk about your book a little bit. You gotta get people to want to put money in the fund.
Yeah. Do you guys DSTs? So I guess Janelle said she went to a DST meeting. You guys
don't know what that is.
It's like a not a syndication, but they pitch it to a lot of inheritance type things, so you don't have to go through kind of like this dividing up assets. It's almost you 1031. Let's say you have properties and you want to 1031 into a big commercial unit, professionally managed. So you're basically deferring the taxes, but it's almost like I want to say like a 7% return kind of thing yearly. So it's very hands off. You don't have any maintenance, but it's that you're getting returns on a bigger asset class, right? So it's kind of that same principle. I think very hands off, and some people like it because you're getting a bigger asset, right? You're getting involved in a bigger asset class, so the value of it. But yeah, definitely not. It's not for everyone, right? Ashley says, I drive them nuts. So Mark is seeing her. So I guess we'll bring that clip up after the retard maxing about seeing the light, right?
We needed it. I like Jen's comment.
Where?
Yeah, Jen's.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm trying to catch up. There's everyone seems to be chiming in right now. Craig is here. He says he's a new member in school. Everyone go check out Craig Parsons. He followed my channel through Emily, I believe. But he says, I would rather invest in a small, hungry guy as a private money lender. Ah, interesting. Yeah.
I like that idea. I've considered that after I get to a point where I don't want to deal with it too much and just kick back a little bit.
Well, if you have any cash now, I will take it. No problem.
12 and 2. 12 and 2.
Lynn says neither. She wouldn't invest with any of them. Sounds like. Harrison is saying those are the kind of questions. If you were on a 2-2 basketball team, would you rather have prime Kobe or prime Jordan? Huh.
Yeah, but that's a bad question because there's a very obvious answer.
I don't watch. I never watch basketball or anything.
Oh
so.
man, it would be the white guy to not watch basketball. No.
I know, and you're in Indiana, man. That's like the home of basketball, right?
Is it?
I will not comment on this one, but I'll just. Jen says Kenny prefers not to partner. He barely wants to partner with me. I'll just leave it at that. It speaks for itself. All right. Let's get into another clip while we're doing it. Let's see. Let me. You know what? I might have to delete one, and because I didn't have enough space to put the retard vaccine one on. But here's one. I don't even.
Lynn's coming
They're
after
not
you for
sharing
that
their
one.
salary with everyone they know. They live off 70% of what they make. They pay off their credit card every Friday, like religiously. They open a Roth IRA at 20 years old. They don't buy a new car. They drive a paid off car. They never act rich, and they never act broke either. They run life like it's a business, and they're building income that works while they sleep. And that's how you stay rich, stupid.
Oh, I didn't know where
I
that
like
one
that.
was going. Who sent me that one? You
That was
sent
me.
me that. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
what caught your eye on that?
No, I just thought it was. Oh yeah. Dylan, defend yourself. Oh my. So that one caught my eye because I think people get caught up, especially with like a lot of the stuff they see on social media, and just see people having things. But what you have to realize a lot of the time is a lot of that's not fully paid for. Like, I don't know, different types of cars, bigger houses, stuff like that. Like some people are just pushing their budgets to an extreme. So if you're somebody that has a paid off car, you live in a duplex, or you're fully covered, you have tons of money left over to be able to buy more properties and stuff like that, you're in a better position than a lot of people. So it was more of one, like, don't get caught up with the hype, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, and I thought this one was interesting because you and I, Dylan, are both in our 20s, and so sometimes I'll see my friends like Instagram or whatever. I'm like, how the hell are they going to Europe again? Or how are they doing this? Or how does that person have a Mercedes? Like, right? Like trying to understand how they're affording it, but they're probably not. Based on all the stats that we get, right? Like most people can't afford $1,000 emergency, all of that stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know even what to believe because one stat says one thing, one person's Instagram says another, and I'm like, something's not adding up here.
Yeah, no, I think that's something to really pay attention to. Like, you can see when people are living, like, I'm like, we work at the same place. I know that you're probably not doing very good on this.
Wait,
Yeah.
that wasn't the question, right? Oh, I know. I just Gus threw in LeBron. It was Kobe and Jordan, right? It was on the comment.
Yeah, but I'd take a LeBron too.
You young guys, come on. Jeez. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay. So it seems like Chester loves this one.
Well, okay, you guys are gonna have to bear with me if you
We
guys
have to
want.
share what it actually means.
Okay,
because-
wait. Oh yeah.
boy.
So let me.
Oh,
I
boy.
I will share the clip, but I'm gonna have to delete something on the files and add it. So I believe we can keep talking. It's just the screen is gonna go to the upload screen. So bear with me, everyone. And we're gonna test it out and see if this works. But yeah, you guys can keep talking, can talk about it, but I want to see if this works. And actually, so let me see if this works real fast.
All right, yeah. Dylan, do a lot of your friends that are Gen Z, do they complain?
Complain
Oh, I
about
do
what?
have it here.
about like finances and stuff like that, or the market, or
Everybody that complains, usually they're not my friends very long, but but like a lot of the people that I see, oh, this economy, whatever. I'm like, if you didn't go into that much debt, and you didn't have all these like expensive things, you wouldn't have the issues that you're complaining about. Not everybody is broke. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Or
But yeah.
you are broken, Burke by choice, like me.
Yeah, but that's intentional, and you're saving
Yeah.
money to buy more properties. It's the people that they just want to make excuses for everything, or like, oh, the economy's bad, or this person that runs this thing makes it worse for us, or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. What screen? I don't know. I'm trying to upload something. So what screen are we on right now?
We're just on like a blue screen, and
Okay.
we're all tiles at the bottom of it.
Okay, hold on. Someone, Alana, who was on a few weeks ago, aspiring slumlord, she was asking if Curtis is a PE teacher.
Yes, I am. I teach half day PE and half day health, 6th through 8th grade. I always tell people I don't know why I chose teenagers and tenants as my main people that I work with, but that's where I'm at. And school is out for us in about 2 weeks. So
You
I'm really-
threatened by the retard maxing movement?
All right,
What is
listen.
retard maxing?
All right,
dude.
all right.
It's awesome.
No, I actually. What is this? Retard maxing is this guy on the internet. This guy sits in his backyard. It's basically a farm, and he does this thing that he calls retard maxing, which is where you basically just don't think about shit at all. You just do what needs to be done. If something bothers you, you just ignore it. And so now the big thing is introspection. Like, should we introspect? Should we think about and reflect on who we are and what's challenging us?
I mean,
And men's mental health, while critical, right? Suicide
Yeah.
rates are way up.
Yeah.
Like, we all acknowledge that. Oftentimes getting into action and doing things as opposed to being online and thinking about your problems, and rumination is a very dangerous place to be. you know?
yeah, if you spend your time just like thinking and not doing, so
Right.
because it feels like that's kind of the note behind the note, right? Is like if you just sit and introspect and think, and you just sit in like, I feel this way, and you never actually take action, then you're just literally not doing anything. But I think there's kind of levels to, like, I think it's good to be introspective to a degree,
Mhm.
check in with yourself,
Yeah.
express how you feel, but don't just sit there and say, this is how I feel, and then don't do anything.
Tell you right now, rumination is the path to unhappiness. Nobody gives a shit about your feelings. Writing your
100%.
feelings down is
100%.
only going to make you miserable. Talking to your spouse about your feelings. Just go to a beautiful dinner, sit courtside at the Knicks, and do what I've been doing for 30 years.
Retard maxing.
Retard maxing.
Retard maxing.
And the register goes up. All you have to do is work. Start new projects. 9 out of 10 fail. Place 9 out of 10 bets. 1 wins, and you're golden. Go sit courtside at the next
Keep
game.
going. Life's too
And
short.
just keep
Yeah.
moving forward. Don't write anything down. Period. Full stop.
So I would like to clarify after showing a few of those videos. I think
Good.
we do not support the use of the actual word itself. A lot of this is to catch people's attention and just say, like, stop overthinking things. And that's what they're doing in a lot of these videos. If you watch, it's Jake with an H on the end. He does a bunch of this stuff where he's just doing stupid things like riding on 2 Lime bikes or Lime scooters and like going down a hill or something like that. Like essentially, it's just telling people, like, stop getting too much into your head and just do the thing. And if you don't do the thing, you're gonna regret at some point that you just wouldn't pull the trigger on anything. Which
Yeah,
is why
I
think-
just wanted to say I want to make it very clear that to my school district, I do not advocate for the use of that word. However, that skill is something that I do teach in my health class, because mental health is super, super important. I don't use phrases like were in the video, but a lot of what they were saying is true. Like, doing things make you feel good, and that is the key.
Yes.
Well,
Very
I'll just say
clickbaity.
Curtis sent me these videos. No, Curtis did not.
I
Send
think
me
I
these.
did.
No, you mentioned it, but I already had them saved. I was ready to share them. But I don't know what Lynn is saying. She says Mark seems pretty supportive to me.
Oh, because you said it twice.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the whole reason they're using that is just because it's been something that a lot of people were like, you can't say that anymore. So it's so jarring when they hear somebody say that. And the message that they're actually trying to convey is really good. So it's almost like the hook to the thing. And yeah, that's just what they're calling it. But I mean, I get people not supporting using
yeah.
that.
Well, we do say the R word, and it's rumination, right? So that was the other word that they were talking about, and that's what that's the other word they mentioned, and that's where Zuber a few weeks back he actually was talking about it because it was from the All In podcast. Jason Calcanis or whatever he met that's what he was talking about, right? And it's just not sitting there overthinking things and what's going to happen, and you just kind of just do it. And so some people see, well, look how much people are commenting now. But Ashley, so we're terming it trick men into Zen meditation. These are mindfulness principles.
It's not even mindful because they're just doing like just whatever.
So Lynn is asked, action without thinking is good.
Overthinking is not good. That's the problem we have with so many people that want to get into what we do. Lynn, I'm sure you have a ton of people around you that want to be real estate investors, and they'll ask a million questions but never actually do anything about it. I have the same people around me, and it's like anybody that wants to start a business or anything, there's a very huge percentage of people that will never do anything because they won't just get out of their own way. That's the message.
Yeah, or even I'll take it outside of the business.
Just don't
realm.
get canceled already.
Yeah,
but doing so for example, in the fitness world, folks are researching all these different programs, right? What's the correct sequencing of the exercises? What all that stuff instead of just exercising, or right, or like I have students like they're asking me all of these questions to try to get around attempting the assignment. I'm like, hey, just start the assignment. I can't give you feedback unless I see something on paper. Then I can help guide you. But if I don't even see your ideas, right? So I think more of just getting started. It's not so much not thinking. It's just getting past the overthinking part.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And to that point, I've said it many, many times already. You jump into a lot of the school calls, and there's those that are almost like you guys said, putting very more obstacles in front of them than maybe there needs to be. And yeah, of course you want to think, but even to the point of where I'm saying I think AI is preventing so many people from taking deals down or whatnot, right? Because like I'm sure, Lynn, if you look back and if you ran your first few properties that you bought, if you ran it through AI, it would probably come up with all these red flags, and then you'd be like, oh, you know what, I shouldn't buy this thing, right? But AI is great, but it's also providing so much information and any reason possible for someone not to purchase something, right? Any small hiccup or any small red flag that someone and if you didn't have it, you wouldn't even know it at the time. And part of it, like Curtis said, you got to just get started and then you kind of figure things out, and that's part of investing, right? You're going to figure out how to navigate things, right? Lynn is saying, I'm hearing the message, stop thinking, just do. I'm not hearing you have thought about is not action. Wait, is not the next step. Wait, I'm hearing the message, stop thinking, just do. I am not hearing you have thought about it. Now action is the next step. I got to run that through AI. What do you mean?
I got to run this through GPT. No, I think she's saying that like the idea she is hearing is just just do the thing instead of thinking about it at all, which is kind of what they are conveying, but it's I think it's an overstatement. I think the main message is just get out of your own way.
Yeah, I think to Yak's point, where he says, if you want to hear what's actually important in life of a volunteer at a senior center or with some disabled veteran, I think when talking to older folks or folks that have just more life experience than myself, often the regrets come from things that they didn't do compared to the things that they did do, right? Like maybe they did make a mistake or there was an error in their ways, and they'll talk about that. But what gets to my heart is like, oh, I wish I had done this, or things like that. It's like, oh wow, well, I think there's a lesson there too.
Harrison is asking, what is the line of ruminating versus calculating? So I guess kind of to Lynn's point of, do you just take action or do you think like, so where is that line of, right, of do you guys have any thoughts on that? I think for me, it's more typically things will never be as bad as you think, or whatever fears you come up with. A lot of times they don't ever play out, or, so fear is always what's going to be what's holding you back. And, a lot, so even like real estate, right? Like they talk about, it's very forgiving, right? Even if you get something pops up after you buy it, usually there's some sort of solution there. And sometimes it's just holding it long enough. And so there's always some kind of typical way to get through the problem, right? But if you just keep putting problems and things in front of you, you're just never gonna take action on it, right? And I think that's that. It is a fine line, but I'm gonna lean towards the side of just taking action and you just figure it out, right?
So I think calculation, right? Like when you use a calculator, there's an end goal, right? You're doing something for a reason. Whereas rumination, the whole idea of rumination is it's a cycle, right? And you don't necessarily break the cycle. That's the problem. Whereas there's calculation, it's a problem-solving tool. You eventually get to an answer.
Yeah, to that point, I also think it's so, like we said, AI is a great tool, but because it's accessing so much information, it's also making you feel like you're staying busy, right? So the whole part about rumination too is you just go out, you do active, you be active, and then a lot of these fears that may pop up if you're just, I mean, I'm sure you guys notice it, right? When you're not doing as many things, there's other things that are popping into your head, like what can go wrong, problem. When you're just staying busy and doing stuff, a lot of those things you're not even thinking about. So that's why I think like AI is just keeping people busy, but it's also
I've noticed that a ton with engineers too. People are like, I've got like 6 agents working on 35 different things. And it's like, okay, but what are you actually building? Like, are we making money here? Or are we just like playing with stuff? Like having agents building things just to build things and asking it questions, and this agent's asking this agent. It's like, dude, I don't care. We've still got to get the same work done today. Like, like, did you get the work done that we need to get done for next week? I think that's a big part of it. Like people they're like, oh, I'll just feed my numbers into AI and AI is going to help me make the decision. No, it's going to give you like 35 different reasons to say no to the thing.
Lynn, Chester is saying, what do you think about what I said to Lynn?
Chester said it's because overthinking is an ego protection mechanism. You can't look foolish in case you don't put yourself out there.
Well, I look foolish all the time. It's my superpower.
I think it's an aversion to loss too. Like some people just aren't okay with losing money. You shouldn't like go out and set out to buy a property to lose money, but you also got to understand that that's part of the game. Like sometimes it's just not going to turn out how you thought it was going to. So just do it, because more often than not, I've met more rich real estate investors than I've met rich stock investors. So take a little bit more risk.
Even to kind of what I was talking about earlier, a lot of times, someone, they buy a home, their primary residence, and, problems happen. They don't ever think twice about it, right? And they're like, yeah, I have a home and all that, but then they buy an investment property and then they got to change the dishwasher, or they got to do the pay for lawn care, and they're just all of a sudden now they're just thrown for a loop, like, oh, what am I doing, and all this is a poor investment. And it's like, yeah, but when you buy a primary home and you do these things, it doesn't bother you at all, right? So it's just you got to get that out of your head, I think. Hey, Craig says, oh, James Hillis is here. Like I said, James will be joining me on Wednesday. He'll be joining Joe and Laura and I for Meet the School members. So that should be a fun one. Craig says, will AI solve real estate and shrink margins to almost nothing? Yeah, and that's kind of to my point, where AI almost like points out all the flaws possible. And I feel like, like if I probably ran all these deals that I bought through AI, I would have found every reason not to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's holding a lot of people back, in my opinion.
I think you should be able to figure out, and not everybody, like if you're newer, maybe you can't do this, but you should figure out if you're willing to buy a property within under 5 minutes. I would say, especially like look at the flood map, run the numbers. Does it make sense? Is it the type of property you like to buy? Okay. What's your offer? Like it should be that simple.
Lynn says, overthinking is a coping mechanism that has kept you safe, but coping mechanisms can become maladaptive and hold you back. Yep.
Absolutely. It keeps so many people from doing things that they've always wanted to do.
Chester says, exactly, Dylan. All investing involves risk, including the risk of loss of principal. See Brandon Turner's LPs. Yep.
And there's one that I wanted to go back to. Sorry, I don't mean to be talking so much. Lynn said, my line is, sorry, I like this one.
Where is it?
My line is, are you going to be okay with the worst case scenario?
Well, I like Yasek's version better. But did you die? But there, yeah, my is.
So I like this because the thing is, if you can become comfortable with the worst case scenario, just understand we're going to land somewhere maybe a little bit above what you think is the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. And are you okay with anything in this range? If that's fine, pull the trigger.
Oh. Yeah, and I think people often don't account for what is the actual risk of non-action. Like it's very obvious to look at the risk of doing a thing, right? Okay, if I do this, these are the possible outcomes. But I think people sometimes miss the extra step of, okay, well, if I don't do that, what are some of the possible outcomes?
Yeah, the worst case scenario for a lot of us is that we have to do what everybody else does. That's a really not nice way of putting it, but like our worst case is how everybody else retires.
Sorry, I forgot to do something for my fantasy baseball league. You guys can talk for now.
Oh my goodness. who even plays it? That's how I know you're retired, because you have time to do fantasy baseball.
Well, this has been like I said, so going back to like these are guys I've been playing with for probably 20 years. So sometimes this is the only way we connect already. But that's the only reason I still play, because there's a lot of people that that's kind of my form of communication with them besides sending reels. But let's see. Janelle says, where'd it go? Every property I've bought, I've had second thoughts thinking of the what ifs. This time I'm much more at ease thanks to support of the ORAC community. Yep.
Yeah, Janelle was actually on our call earlier talking about a property she's working on. And I think that's one of the best things about being in a community, because a lot of us, I don't want to act like I'm there or anything yet, but we've been through things that are very similar to the things that you're going to go through. And you've been through things that are similar to things that I'm going to go through. And when we all get together on a call and I say, oh, I'm really struggling with this. And then Mark's like, oh, I just dealt with that last year. Like, this is how you fix it. This is the type of person you need to call to fix that, and so on. Solved. Like it demystifies everything and makes the risk. Well, it makes the risk visible of what it actually is. Like, what's your actual exposure on certain issues? I think that's great.
Does black humor count? Yasik is saying. I don't know what that's in reference.
I don't know where that came from.
He asked Lynn.
It's like a coping.
Yeah, and then humor is one of them.
I think he meant dark humor.
I don't know if that was a Freudian slip or what happened there. But
Jen says, I think overthinking is from lack of confidence. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think kind of going back a little bit to what Janelle said, that's what the community is helpful with, right? It just helps build your confidence, and even like, and that's why I keep trying to, push people to share what they're doing. And there's so much people that are like, oh, I only have one property, or I have no property, or they don't want to. And it's just, be confident in what you do. Be proud of, you having one property. Hey, there's Coach Nick. Hopefully he regained all his subscribers that the other teacher gave extra credit to unsubscribe from his channel. So he definitely good weekly Bitcoin wrap up this morning.
I think also confidence comes from competence. And so if you're not that experienced, you haven't done it before, well, of course you're not going to be that confident because you may not even have the skills yet. But that's kind of part of the process. Like Lynn says, you got to get the reps.
Chester said, I think it's a continuum from lack of confidence in oneself and one's abilities, cascading all the way to that worst case scenario. Total loss of principal, embarrassment, etc. Yep. Yasik said, I would use the English, not my first language card. Only one way to build confidence. Gotta get reps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, to that point though, like I was saying, right? Like AI. Right, AI is people are using to build reps to evaluate deals and things like that. So, like, where would you guys kind of, I guess maybe like you said, help people build reps without overwhelming themselves, though? I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, what are we talking about, right? Because you're analyzing a deal, but that's only this much of what it takes to invest. If that's what we're talking about, right? That's the first step. Getting to step 2 would be what? Making in the offer. So
It's the whole
maybe,
process, right?
yeah. So maybe you set a goal of like, all right, for every X amount of deals I have this AI thing evaluate, I'm going to at least submit one offer per X amount of deals. So that way you're going from that rumination of just thinking to that calculating, like Harrison brought up earlier, of like a thoughtful process.
Speaking of reps, what was the title of the video? It was the original clip was, I don't know. What was it? Don't be offended. Stop being real friends roast you, right? Was that the original?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, if they don't roast you, are they really in your friends?
I didn't even realize how long we were going. You guys want to keep going? You guys want to play any more clips? What do you guys want to do? I don't know what you guys got planned for today.
I got a graduation I got to go to in a minute.
All right. Curtis, what do you guys want? One more clip? I don't know.
Sure.
Just don't keep it on the same topic. Switch topics.
No, I'm trying to figure out. I can't.
Well,
there's one I do. Do you guys want to do this one? I don't know. You guys talk about Mandami talking about New York. You guys want that one?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Where the hell did I go? Where did that one go? Shit. Man, I gotta get a bigger screen, man. I can't figure out where the hell. Oh, here.
I think you're old, Mark. I think you need some glasses, man.
Shut up. Is this?
We both got glasses on.
Through our new citywide campaign, Fix the City, we will focus on the worst landlords in New York City. When necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
All right, you guys got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I was intrigued to see who he said the stewards of the property were going to be. It's the whole "we're the government and we're here to help" type of deal. Those are pretty dangerous words.
Yeah, that worked really well in Yugoslavia. So with stuff like that, if you notice, every time the government gets involved in something, it's always substantially worse. When we leave it open to free market, things tend to get cheaper and better. Are there some bad landlords? Yes. Are a lot of New York's bad landlords a cause of policy? Because they're not incentivized to do anything. Because if I fix up this apartment and spend 30 grand in this apartment getting it ready for somebody to live in, can I even charge an appropriate rent? Or do I have to charge 2% more than what it was leased for last time? It's like, yeah, they're not incentivized to do the work. If landlords were incentivized in New York City to do stuff, they would destroy the duplexes and stuff that they have in New York, the quadplexes. They build the 16, 20, 30 unit buildings in vertically, because that's a better use of the land and we can provide more housing for people. But it's easier to say, let's just take money from the rich people and give it to the less fortunate, quote unquote, or the people that just aren't working for it.
Well, let's see. Jen says this dude sounds like Newsom, scary. Chester says I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Ronald Reagan, like Curtis was saying. Jen adds in, yes, I agree with Dylan. When government gets involved, it gets worse. And yeah, Stephen from the Bronx, so Mandami technical support team. Well, so let me ask you this then. So Jen, who's in California, talking about Gavin Newsom. Curtis, you're in an area where also they possibly hate wealthy people, and part of the reason why Dion is selling some properties and moving to Texas. Is that possibly in your future relocating, or what is your take on your area, I guess?
I've definitely have thought about it. Now, some of the numbers are still making sense in our areas for small multi. But what's interesting, and like I have a property in the city of Tacoma, which has some of the worst landlord laws, like Seattle does. But what's interesting is they put these laws into effect, and then the nonprofit or the community housing people that he was talking about, a year after this laws have been in place, were like, hey, we actually need to be exempt from these laws because they don't work. And so I thought it was so interesting, the same groups that pushed for the rent control, tenant protections, a year later were like, hey, can we be exempt because it's not working for us?
Yeah, so I see Dirty Title Gold Mine. I believe that is Ellis. I'm pretty sure. But he was on Gus's podcast a couple weeks back. He's also in California, I believe. But I think he blew Gus some of those people's minds away on that episode. So definitely go check that one out. But he was talking about a deal where he kind of cross collateralized debt into another property. So definitely go check that one out. And I think people were kind of blown away at how he structured that deal. But he says economics 101 should be required of all politicians before they can hold office and enjoy the property tax and insurance nightmare in Texas. So just to clarify, so yeah, I think, everywhere you possibly might move is going to always have some sort of issue, maybe, and Texas does have higher property taxes and insurance. But as Dion mentions, it's not so much. He's also looking for an environment where maybe a little more like-minded individuals like himself, or even not the mindset of hating rich people, or so he can deal with the property taxes and insurance possibly, but he just wants to try to find a place where he maybe aligns with his neighbors a little bit more, to where he doesn't have to be concerned about maybe what flag he has hanging, or something like that, right? So that's kind of more why he's also relocating, right?
Yeah, I think it cut down the friction, right? There's financial friction when they add these fees or these processes. There's time friction. You have to get inspections for the rental housing. There's social friction when you bring up that you're a landlord and people kind of just look at you, right? So I think leaving some of these areas just reduces life friction.
Chester does say technical nerd term. Dead weight loss is all the added junk fee that benefit no one but the one who imposes the fees. Think like taxes, regulatory fees, etc. Yes. And Ellis says you must buy with deeper discount in Texas because of low appreciation and erosion from expenses. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, well, at the same time, I don't think at this point he's really buying it for as much of an investment mindset behind it, right? So he's kind of moving there for other reasons. So, but yeah, from an investment standpoint, yeah, there's other factors to consider in that market. Lynn says, if you think about it, politicians are not there for GDP growth. They are there for the needs of the people.
Interesting. And what's interesting about that is there's this news report that just came out about Washington. I still have to read the full thing, but one of our big private money lenders in the area, she wrote a nice little blip about it on Facebook. But basically, Washington is getting very close to being in the danger zone because all the fees that they've built into law are not generating as much as they did a year ago or 2 years ago because people are moving away, right? So all of these one-time or two-time fees that oh, we're going to get these every year. It's going to be great and still help the people. Well, now they're not getting those ones and two fees from the big players because the big players are moving away.
Yes.
Yasik makes a great point. He said, unfortunately, they don't do either, Lynn. And I think that's also why what's great about this community or people that are trying to reach financial freedom is they realize that the only way to probably make it is if you take care of yourself and worry about yourself. Right? And I think that's the whole importance of, financial literacy and, financial independence is to that you can kind of make decisions that best align with what you want to do. Right.
Yeah, and to your point there, Mark, I think it's not so much just for themselves, but for their families as well, right? Be it blood or chosen families to give the family more options.
Chester says, Lynn, I'd say supposed to be there for the needs of the people. Yeah. And Ellis says, politicians are there to get votes to stay entrenched with influence and power. Yeah. And Chester adds in fees and taxes drive people away. Counterintuitive thing to do is lower taxes and fees. Yep. School, no, African. All right. Well, it's always fun. I believe I heard Dion had a pop-up live this morning. So I believe there's a course call today. I thought I heard him mention. I'm not sure. I haven't seen what time, but I believe there's a course call for Dion today. If you are in the school community, and I don't know why you aren't, but if you are, Zuber is live streaming or 2 calls tomorrow in the school community. One, he's going to be kind of going over his presentation that he did at Jason Hartman's event. He's going to break down the 54-year spreadsheet. And he's also has a call with Jeff White, part of PTO for Life. So he's going to be, Jeff is going to come probably talk about house hacking, rent by the room, sober living, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Jeff will be in the school community tomorrow also. Chester says, look at Florida and Texas, the opposite of California and New York. Yep. And Ellis says it's harder to offer assistance to others if you aren't financially stable. Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm still waiting on the California high-speed railway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Any final words? Anything else? Like I said, I want today 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Is that when the course call is at Chester? Okay. Any final words from you guys? What you got? Any Dylan? I don't know. I don't see any content on your channel anymore. Just
I have been so busy. I haven't been posting. Yeah, I'm probably going to start posting more stuff. I've been thinking about doing a little bit more live streaming too, but it's going to be more programming related than real estate related, just because it's, I don't know. I've noticed those videos on my channel tends to do a lot better. I might have to start a whole nother channel for that though, so I don't bifurcate the audience.
Yeah, I think, hey man, I think it would be cool if you just did the Burr stuff. Like if you just put up your phone and said, okay, this was how we bought it. This is what the process is. I think people would be interested in the actual doing of the thing. You're already there. You might as well just press record, do it for 2 to 5 minutes. Boom.
Yeah, when we get the property, I'll be putting stuff up like that. But there's tenants in there now until the 30th of the month, and then we start renovations and everything.
Yeah, Chester's saying the course call. So 7 p.m. Eastern is the course call. And then Ellis, like I said, yeah, he is in California, I believe. He says appreciation in California is a wealth creation juggernaut if you can handle the other BS. Yeah, sick. Yeah, this is the final words. Then stay strong, everyone, and don't forget to make fun of others. You never know when someone is having an amazing day. All right. Should I don't remember. Should we play? That's all right. I was gonna play the initial clip so everyone remembers what we were talking about, but that's all right. All right, fellas. Yeah, it's always fun catching up. Curtis, your spring break? I mean, not spring. Summer break started already? Are you guys?
2 weeks.
Oh, in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Oh,
I got like
shit.
9 school days left.
Dang, you're gonna be well into June.
Yeah, but then 2-week trip. So.
Oh, are you going on the cruise?
Yeah. Not the Dion one.
Oh, you're going on a different cruise.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are you? And if anyone, I think I might be going to the Bears game in Charlotte for the Panthers Bears game. Meet up with Val, other people in North Carolina, and then head up to Pittsburgh because I think Jack is still having his Pittsburgh meetup September 18th. So I think it all kind of works. Maybe that's the plan right now. So we'll see. So I'll probably see Curtis at the Bears game. And hey, your uncle chimed in, right? Or no, was that your dad that comment? No, who? There was someone Haynes.
I think that was my dad. Yeah.
Gus is saying what was the first clip? Oh, shoots. All right. We'll play the first clip then. Let me find the first clip. Where did it go? Shit, where is it? It's here somewhere. It's so small. Oh, here it is. All right. What's his name again? Brad Lee. Yes, I gotta remember to say their names so I don't get in trouble. And so when you guys send me clips, remove the music too, because I got flagged last time. So no, so that's why. So whenever I take the clip now and I have to remove the background music because I think I got flagged the last time. So, but here we go.
New study finds that friends that basically cap on each other show that those people are more loyal. Study doesn't surprise me at all. If I don't make fun of you, if I don't throw out jabs and good-natured jokes and tease you a little bit, if I don't say, hey, how long did the doctor say you should wear those shoes? If I don't say, hey, show me who cut your hair and we're going to go kick there. If I don't say, frickin', does that shirt come in a man size? If I don't say, and your teeth look like you gargle butter. If I'm not messing with you, I probably don't mess with you. So if I'm ever joking with you and I'm ever making fun of you, that means I love you. That means you're my buddy. You're my pal. We're connected. We're tight. I've been trying to tell people that for years. Everybody gets offended when I throw a little jab their way and they get all butthurt. I'm like, brother, I wouldn't make fun of somebody unless I loved them.
So that was the original clip. So yeah, totally agree. I love all you guys. Let's see. Any final comments coming through real quick? I don't see any. Only 9 days of school left, and go Garrett. Yeah, that's not funny anymore. I think. Have you heard any? You don't really know yet, Dylan. So I think because I thought I saw somewhere the other day that what's today? I think they had only to the end of this month to finalize if the Bears are going to move. So I think that was kind of the rumor I heard. So I'm not sure. We're definitely pal. Yeah. Oh yeah, Chester, I love you, man. Especially now that we're under 600. That was like the perfect scenario that could have happened. That you waited to become 601, and now we're under 600 members. All right, everyone. I don't see anything else coming through. So if you are in Dion's course, like I said, 7 p.m. Eastern, right, was the course call. And if
Mhm.
if you're in school, I'll see everyone tomorrow. All right. Thanks, everyone.